PlayStation financials just dropped. They are shipping consoles like hotcake. There is no doubt that they really are in a position to basically top, in my opinion anyways, the PlayStation 4 in regard to console sales. I've been looking at some of the numbers out here, and just as you would expect, and like I've said, they're going to pretty much meet that PlayStation 4 number level because people have built their libraries. This is basically Phil Spencer's words coming to light again, where he said that they lost the console war, that the time that they were supposed to basically stay in the game and allow for players to be able to build their libraries on Xbox was one that they basically gawked. And so now the fruits of PlayStation's own business strategies in the PS4 timeline has actually come to, basically roost. Because now when you go ahead and look at the data, this console has shipped over 75 million units. Gematsu does a quick breakdown. PlayStation 5 has shipped 75 million units worldwide. Sony announced its financial results for the 3 months ended December 31st, 2024, and a total of 9.5 PlayStation units were shipped during the 3 months ending December 31st, 2024, which is up 1.3 million from the same period the previous fiscal year. The stats go by this: 129 million active users on PlayStation as of December 31st, which was up 6 million units from the 23 million active users during the same period and previous fiscal year. PlayStation 5 and PS4 software combined sold 95.9 million units during this 3 months ended December 31st, 2024, which is up 6.2 million from the 89.7 million software sold the same period in the previous fiscal year. Now, here's where PlayStation has work to do. 11.6 million units were first-party titles, which is down 4.6 million from the 16.2 million units sold during the same period the previous fiscal year. 74% of software sales were full game software digital downloads, which is down 3% from the same period the previous fiscal year. In fact, if you just want to run a calculator, you can pretty much whip out a calculator and you can do some, possibilities. Sorry about that. And you can pretty much see that 11 point something million units would have yielded, 11 million units would have yielded them $660 million in terms of basically 100% revenue. However, the 89.7 million units, or which is so about 70 something or so million units, that's what it is, right? Oh, sorry. 89, but that would be 78 million units, right? Would basically be 78 million. I'm doing the math in real time. Sorry, I'm doing it times 60. That will be $4.6 billion, of which they're going to take 30% of times 0.3. That's my phone, which will be $1 billion in revenue. So altogether, 1 billion plus 1.4 billion plus 660 something billion. They went home with $200 billion. Sorry, I said 200 billion. They went home with $2 billion in that quarter. That's quite impressive from getting their console sales up. I have to say that one very interesting point in this conversation was an audience member said that this PlayStation surge in their sales is as a result of new players going into consoles because of exclusives. I remember seeing that comment and I was like, well, you have to basically look at the numbers. Again, when we say exclusives, you're talking about possibly these particular games that people would probably come in and buy. And here's the comment here I can show you guys. It was actually put here by an audience member that said, PS just killed it this quarter in sales. And then it says 42% were new players. So it would seem like exclusive matter, and Xbox having none is driving people to PlayStation. That's not the case. The case with PlayStation's particular, device, especially now seeing that the PlayStation software sales were actually the lower of both of them. I mean, the factor is insane. Potentially $1.4 billion of 30% revenue and potentially $660 million. That is if all the games are bought for $60 a piece. We didn't factor in the sales that would have gone on during the holiday. The ratio is actually much smaller. And then it said PS first-party studios haven't announced any PC games after April with The Last of Us Part 2. And if they continue to sell at least 8 million a quarter, they won't need to. Then we have Switch 2 coming. PC gaming might not be as important as you think if consoles continue to sell high numbers. Consoles are not going anywhere. I don't think I've ever said that consoles are going to be going anywhere. That's not a reality. In fact, I've said that for the most part, it proves that consoles are something that will be in a lot of people's purview, because a lot of people have built their digital libraries on these consoles. In order for somebody to be able to switch and abandon a digital library, it's going to be a very huge proposition that you're going to be asking them to go ahead and employ. So I don't think consoles are going to go disappear. I know a lot of PC gamers that have their Nintendo Switches. They're going to get the new Nintendo Switch. This is not a conversation for, most of them. It's not up for conversation. I'm different in that way, in the sense that I don't need a Nintendo Switch. I play, and master a few games every year. I'm not going to sit there and try to play one more, platform or whatever it is. It's not going to happen in my case. So now, where does Xbox come in? Well, Phil Spencer has already envisioned this possibility in this generation. There's no way that PlayStation is not going to bludgeon Xbox again in this generation like they did in the Xbox One generation. Remember, I said this to you guys. Phil Spencer basically came out and said, we lost the console war. We should have been in the game when people were building their digital libraries, and we gawked. So what did Xbox do last generation? Last generation, Xbox took itself to PC. In that time, as it took itself to PC, it was enjoying some of the heaviest sales that you could find at the time. If you go look at, say, the Steam Best of 23 or 2024 or 22 or 2019, 2018, you see Xbox games paraded on these lists as the top grossing game, some of the top grossing games in that particular year. So they were able to go ahead and pull that off. Now, here's the next strategy. Seeing as they're going to be bludgeoned in console sales in this particular generation, guess what they've done? They've decided with Project Latitude that they're going to take their games and go over to the PlayStation platform. So now that PlayStation pretty much is shown to have good and strong third-party sales, Xbox is going to get a piece of that. That's exactly the play at this particular moment in time. Because if they don't do that, they're going to relegate themselves to software sales that are already in the saturated markets that they've already penetrated, basically PC and the Xbox console. So now all 75 million consoles that have been sold by PlayStation is now an Xbox. A very weird way to do business, but if it worked out for them on the PC side, then they're, basically banking on the possibility that it will work out for them on the PlayStation side, because already they're making a lot of money on PlayStation, basically coming in and selling Call of Duty, which probably, if you think about this, 89.7 million units of sales. I mean, that quarter, you can probably say a good chunk of it was Call of Duty. You can't necessarily negate that impact that Call of Duty would have on an ecosystem like this. So this is actually very interesting to see, in my opinion, and it's quite expected because, again, like I've said, the max number of Xboxes that Xbox would probably be willing to sell is more than likely not going to pass the 60 million units that they sold in the Xbox One generation. While PlayStation is going to pretty much also clock what they're selling on the PS4 generation, most of those players are going to eventually gravitate to the PS5. For now, most of them are still on the PS4, but once the GTA, push starts to come in play, then you're going to see people continue their live service gaming on the PS5. That's usually what happens. And so this is actually working out in favor for PlayStation. However, I think many of you can now start seeing why PlayStation is bringing its games to PC. Those sales numbers in that quarter already tip you off to just tell you that their first-party games are not selling as much as they would like for them to, so they've now gone ahead to find another market on the PC side. Very interesting, isn't it? So thanks for watching the video. Talk to me in the comment section. I appreciate you guys' time and audience. What do you think about PlayStation sales and console sales? You surprised? You expect it? Peace out.